call Deputy Sean Kelly.
Thanks, Lascan Corla. I welcome the opportunity to speak on this bill, and I wish to compliment Minister Ged Nash for bringing this bill before the House. The establishment of the Low Pay Commission was a key commitment in the Statement of Priorities agreed by the Taoiseach and Taoiseach in July 2014, and it was launched at the end of February of this year. It has the important remit of making recommendations to government in relation to the setting of the minimum wage and to take an evidence-based approach in doing so. A national minimum wage was introduced in Ireland under the National Minimum Wage Act 2000. In April 2000, the Irish government set a minimum rate of €4.40 in minimum wage in punts. The current rate is €8.65 per hour, and it has remained at that rate since 2007, except for a period in 2011 when it was cut by the government of Fianna Fáil and the Green Party. As soon as the present government came to office, it reversed that cut in July 2011. That restoration and now the existence of the Low Pay Commission, I think, clearly demonstrates the government's commitment to tackling the whole question of low pay. Low pay is not just some abstract economic issue. As with other economic issues, for example, the question of banking debt, the minimum wage is a matter that is the subject of intense debate. And supporters of the minimum wage, of which I am one, argue that a minimum wage is necessary to ensure that workers are not forced to work for wages that are below the poverty line. Opponents argue that it is an artificial government-imposed wage which increases unemployment, as some employers cannot afford to pay the rates. I must say that I have never known an opponent of a minimum wage to know what it is like to work for low pay or for minimum pay. Arguments in favour focus mostly on the fact that employers should have a responsibility to ensure that workers are given a living wage. Indeed, this is something for which the Labour Party has campaigned. On the other hand, opponents argue that in a global economy where economies and countries compete with each other, there is always the threat of moving production of goods overseas to where wages are lower and where the workers have fewer rights. A recent example of this was the announcement in my constituency by Cadbury's in Coolock that they proposed to move production of their Time Out bar to Poland with the projected loss of 60 jobs. This is known as, I quote, the race to the bottom. Unquote, and such a race needs to be strongly opposed. I am aware that the Commission plans to take an evidence-based approach to the task in hand. This will involve examining existing data, commissioning new research if necessary, and consulting directly with workers and employers in order to decide on what the new minimum wage should be. The chairperson is Donald de Butler, and he has been supported by 8 commissioners: Vincent Jennings, Patricia King, Jerry Light, Caroline McHenry, Edel McGinley, Mary Moss, Tom Noonan and Donald O'Neill. There is quite a range of issues that will have to be examined before the Commission comes to make its recommendations. These issues include the changes in earnings since the minimum wage was last increased in 2011 and the rate of employment generally since then. As well as that, the expected impact of a change to the minimum wage on employment, the cost of living and national competitiveness will have to be considered and examined. Changes in income distribution and currency exchange rates will also have to be looked at. The Commission has been given a tight schedule. By mid-July it must settle on an appropriate wage rate, but perhaps this is a good thing, as putting a deadline on something will bring the issue to a head quickly, and I hope it will avoid the whole matter being procrastinated over a long period. My view is that the Low Pay Commission represents the next step in the government's prioritising work and fairness as the economy gradually improves. I believe that having a job is the best protection against poverty, and that fair wages and conditions are essential to achieving that. I wish the Low Pay Commission well in its work, and I commend this legislation to the House. Thank you.